Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Moana 2. And this is a sequel that was unexpected, as this was supposed to be a Disney Plus series, gets reworked into a film, co-directed by David G. Derrick Jr., Jason Hand, and Dana Ledoux Miller. And this combo brings the story to life that sees a continuation of Moana's story. Auli'i and Dwayne Johnson are both back as Moana and Maui respectively, who apparently came on pretty late in the game. This didn't even really get announced until spring. So this seems like they were just trying to throw this out in theaters to make some money. And the story, I think, does a fine job of expanding the lore of Moana's story, expanding out that, hey, we need to connect with other people out there, and that there's this big entity, this god, that's not happy about this drive to connect with other people because it would take power away from him, and that's about it. The antagonist is pretty paper thin and not very interesting. But the way that this world is expanding, I think, is interesting and engaging. And if it were to have the space to span out over the course of episodes, maybe this would have felt a little bit more impactful. But the narrative feels very choppy and episodic and never really fully comes together in a really effective way. There's also a lack of depth in terms of the new additions to, Moana has a whole crew. This time around, Maui comes in a little bit later, but you have Moni and Loto and Kale, and I think they each do a fine job. The performers like Hualale Chung, Rose Matafero, and David Finney, who I think all do a really good job of creating character with their voice performances, but they're all very one note in terms of, what they're actually doing. The real heart of this film is the dynamic, I feel like, between Moana and her sister Samia, played by Khaleesi Lambert Suda, and they're so charming together. It's so heartwarming, and that's the real emotion of this film, is that dynamic. And I feel like Cravalho does a great job. She brings so much charm to Moana and strength and humor and really kills the singing moments. Dwayne Johnson's Dwayne Johnson. He is Maui. He's doing his thing. I do appreciate Tamora Morrison, Nicole Scherzinger, and Rachel House, who plays the rest of Moana's family, who have their moments too. The voice cast is great. The animation is gorgeous. This looks like this beautiful, sprawling ocean and island-filled world. It's gorgeous to look at. The narrative is, loose and doesn't have a whole lot of depth at a lot of places. I feel like the biggest thing is the music. And we're missing Lin-Manuel Miranda this time around, and each piece of music, each song feels like it's that song from the first movie, except less interesting and less dynamic and less memorable. And that's a shame, because when they start playing some of the songs from the original film in this one, you get oh, this is fantastic, and you start to realize, oh, well, maybe the music was better last time. And it kind of leaves that space there. This opens up this story to all kinds of possibilities, and I love that about this film. There's just not a lot that I love about this film. The dynamic between Moana and her sister, yes. The animation, yes. And there's good humor, there's fun. It just feels like so many derivative elements, there's a new piggy. He's a chunky one this time, but it's just another pig. And yeah, there's some good laughs about it, and it's cute, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like this film reeks of this being a repackaged show into one loose and uneven story. And it's a fun time at the movies, but it's not great, and it doesn't hit that kind of classic status that the first Moana does. And now we're getting a live action one. 8 years later. I guess 9 years by the time it comes out. So, they're really putting out the Moana, but we're really not recapturing the magic of the first one yet. But those are my thoughts on Moana 2. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.